Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, here I am in front of my computer, and we're going to be talking about the second week of January. And this is going to cover January 8th through the 14th. Day by day, where all the planets are in the heavens and how they're all relative to the moon. Now remember, I am a Vedic astrologer. These are the sidereal positions of the zodiac, not the tropical western. And what I like to talk about is where the moon is every day and to funnel all the planets relative to where they're placed from the moon. This definitely gives us a feel and a sense of what we'll all be feeling globally in the world, as well as on a personal level. So this is astrology in action, and you're going to want to know what this means for you. Now, I want to remind everyone right here and now, this is talking about where all the planets are for everyone. But if you want to know how these planets are affecting your personal birth chart, you're going to want to get my Galactic Planner. Go to galacticplanner.com and it will give you your birth chart, your sidereal Vedic birth chart, and your dashas, everything. And it's going to be downloaded, all of the translations of what these aspects mean for you personally into your calendar on your phone or your computer. You will be better prepared every day using the tool of astrology. There's nothing more powerful than the tool of astrology. So let me get going here. I'm going to continue on. We're going to be forging forward, looking first at January 8th. January 8th, it is a Wednesday. And on this day, we have the moon in Aries, right there in the middle of Aries. And it is going to be in the nakshatra Bharani. Now, Aries is a sign of new beginnings, new starts. It is a very energetic sign. It's ruled by Mars, so there's lots of energy and excitement while the moon is in this fresh beginning of the zodiac. Now, because the moon is in Aries and we have Mars in Cancer, we have what's called a parivartana. The moon is in the sign Aries that's ruled by Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Cancer ruled by the moon. So when this happens, this is a beautiful thing. And with Mars being in the 4th from the moon is the 10th from Mars. This is all about progress on this day, making things happen. And the debilitation of Mars is lessened while this exchange goes on. So Mars being in the 4th, it's still a good day to do things around the house. Maybe decorate or fix things around the house, but make the home better. This is what this day should be used for. Now, the moon is in the nakshatra Bharani, which deals with new beginnings, because really this nakshatra symbol is the uterus where a baby is about to be born. So what's the symbology of that? A new birth. New beginnings and new birth. That's what this day can be used for, starting new projects. And we also have the moon is still in the waxing phase. So this is a time to move forward, continuing moving forward the whole time the moon is waxing. And actually the moon has been waxing since the first of the month in January. So this first 2 weeks is action-packed, moving forward, getting things done. And Bharani is like breakthroughs, because what happens when a baby outgrows its condition? It has to go through the birthing process. So we're talking about today, you will feel like you're birthing something new. Isn't that fabulous? This is a powerful and good day. And Jupiter is in the 2nd house from the moon. It's a good day for making money. Money will come in, it will flow, it'll be easier. Now the moon is coming close to Uranus, so towards the end of this day, there's going to be more turbulence going on. But still, I love this day for getting things done around the house, making money, as well as the Sun, Mercury go to the 9th house from the moon. And this deals specifically with truth and spirituality, reading and learning more about high-minded things in this world, growth, spirituality. That's what it's all about. Another thing is the Saturn, Venus are still in the 11th house from the moon. So it's a good day to come together with friends, particularly old friends, Saturn being old, or I don't necessarily mean age-wise, but your friends that you've had for a long time. So that's Wednesday, January 8th. Now I'm looking at January 9th, which is a Thursday. And remember, I'm talking Central Standard Time. So adjust your time frame according to this time zone. And I can't do every time zone. I think you understand that. So please make the adjustments. But throughout this day, the moon will be in Taurus. And this is remarkable because it's come into the sign with Jupiter. So Thursday is actually the day that's ruled by Jupiter. So this is a very auspicious means very good day to get things done. People are in a good mood. The moon is exalted in Taurus. It's its favorite position and it's lining up with Jupiter. Very, very beautiful day to get things done. Things are moving forward. Mars is in the 3rd house from the moon. And this can mean traveling unexpectedly sometimes, having to go places. And it being in Cancer, still Mars is retrograde in Cancer. So don't forget, people are still not being forthcoming with what they're feeling. There's just been a lot of suppression and repression of people's feelings that they don't know how to express. But all in all, this is an auspicious day for many, many events. And looking at the Sun with Mercury, they go to the 8th house. So it is a day of deep understanding, inner inspection of who you are. And the 8th house can deal with intuition. So be aware that you're going to be more intuitive. But it is a day that we can do some deep self-analysis. And furthermore, I love that the Venus, Saturn are in the 10th house from the moon. So things go well at work. There's a lot of good organization going on. People are coming together and happy in the workplace. Rahu, Neptune are in the 11th house. So be careful about the friends that you hang out with, and you'll be okay if you just listen to your intuition. But one thing I failed to mention is the moon. It's in Taurus, but it's in the nakshatra Kritika. And Kritika, its symbol is a sword, a knife. And it means it cuts to the chase and gets to the bottom of things. So people are going to be more realistic and more direct. And I actually like that. I want to know what people are about. I don't want to have the wool pulled over my eyes and people pretending to be something they're not. No, today people are going to be direct and forthcoming with information and strong. Moon in Taurus, a beautiful thing. Now I'm looking at January 10th. This is a Friday, Central Standard Time, and the moon is still in Taurus the whole day today. And it is a beautiful moon right next to Jupiter. Midday, we have Jupiter-Moon conjunction in Taurus and in the nakshatra Rohini. So here's the thing, Jupiter influences the moon beautifully. So it is a day of positive thought. People are happy. People are in a good mood because the moon is actually exalted in the sign Rohini and Taurus. So it's its favorite position for the moon to be in this nakshatra. This nakshatra Rohini deals with sensuality, it deals with quality, it deals with beautiful luxury items. So it's a great day to go shopping, to acquire things of quality, and that even goes for the kind of food that you choose and eat. Everything's on high level quality. But this is just a gorgeous moon. I love when the moon comes together in Taurus with Jupiter, and the only time that this can happen is when Jupiter is in Taurus, which doesn't happen but once every 12 years. So every time the moon comes into Taurus, it joins Jupiter, and it's a glorious day. And this will happen basically once a month. Pick those days for events and you'll do very well with the outcome of any event done on this day particularly. This is a Friday, so what's interesting about Friday is it's Venus's day, so it's a good day for celebration, party, go out, dating, anything that you want to prosper and turn out well. Even on the business sense, with Venus and Saturn being in the 10th house from the moon, this is good for work, business, and if you have anything to say to your boss, it's time to do it. This will be a good opening. And basically, I'm just going to say this day overall is one of the best days of the entire month. Use this day for any project that you want to come to fruition, to happen. You've got it. The moon is still waxing. That means it's growing in light. So it's the best time to get projects done that you want to succeed. This is a day of success. Use it well. Now I'm looking at January 11th. This is a Saturday. And Central Standard Time, the moon has just entered into Gemini. Gemini is all about the communication skills, getting out there, moving, talking. And if you know anybody with a lot of Gemini, boy, they talk a lot. And you got to admit, I talk a lot in these things too, and I have a Gemini rising. So, but it's all about communications, getting and connecting to people, getting information out. So connections, communications really rev up today. Now, this is approaching, this is a few days before the full moon. And remember that the full moon won't be to the 13th, but this is where the moon is increasing in light. This is a good thing. It's a good time to put your house on the market if you're selling. Always put your house on the market. By the way, I tell all my clients this. When the moon is increasing in light, that means it's waxing. So it's from the new moon to the full moon. Then after the full moon, back to the new moon, it's waning in light. It's decreasing in light. That's not necessarily the time to start new projects. You want to try to begin things, and you're not always going to succeed. There's 2 weeks of the month that let me put it this way, if you start something and the moon is waning, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to work, but you have a better chance at it when the moon is waxing, increasing in light. So that's what we have right now. The moon sits in the nakshatra Mrigashira, and Mrigashira is all about the hunt. It's about finding things. So if there's something that you're searching for, like something to complete something you've been working on, like a collection of sorts, this is the day you might find that piece, that missing piece you've been looking for. But it's about, I always say it's about shopping for things, trying to find something that just works perfectly in your home or that you're trying to find in your wardrobe. This is the day to shop. And even though Jupiter is in the 12th house, I'll tell you something I love about Jupiter in the 12th house. Besides it deals with extreme spirituality, it's a great day for meditation. You'll sleep well. It's a time for rest. But people are more generous when Jupiter is in the 12th from the moon. So you can ask for favors from people. It'll work. Although Mars is in the 2nd house from the moon. So even though I said it might be a good day to shop and find that last piece, I still think of that. But be careful of impulsive spending with Mars being in the 2nd house from the moon. Sometimes you just feel like you gotta have it and then you're gonna regret it. So just, stand back, give it a little time before you press the button. Now, we have Mercury and Sun opposing the moon. So it is a time that we will come together with better communications in our relationships, especially since the moon is in Gemini for communications. And the Venus-Saturn, they work well in the 9th house. The 9th house is about finding spirituality, and it's also the house of luck. So you're going to find this day will run pretty smoothly. I don't see any major hiccups or anything like that. Rahu being in the 10th from the moon, it could be a day of expansion in terms of your work and your career, even though it is a Saturday. Okay, so now I am looking at January 12th, and this is a Sunday, Central Standard Time. We still have the moon in Gemini, and Gemini is all about our communications, but it's in the nakshatra Ardra. And Ardra's a very difficult nakshatra. It actually deals with the storm god Rudra, and its symbol is a teardrop. So it has a certain degree of sadness that surrounds this day, and possibly some storms that can be more violent, but that can also be symbolic of storms. What I mean is emotional storms and things going on. But it's just a day to be a little bit more cautious. It's a day before the full moon, so it does have good energy with the increasing in light. Jupiter in the 12th, still Jupiter in the 12th represents you can ask for favors. People are more generous. It is a day of spiritual, serious work with Saturn, Venus in the 9th house. Rahu in the 10th from the moon. It is about expansion and work coming together. Just be aware that Rahu is still coming together with Neptune, and there is this little side of deceitfulness where people aren't completely real. That would pertain to your workplace. So, be a little cautious and be careful what you say, because Mars being in Cancer in the 2nd house from the moon can mean that you blurt out things before you think and you could regret what you say. So be cautious, think before you speak. I'm now looking at January 13th, and this is a Monday, Central Standard Time. And what this day has is the moon is still midday in Gemini, but it's in the last degrees of Gemini, midday. So in the second part of the day, going into the evening, the moon will have moved into Cancer. But during this day, the moon is in one of my favorite nakshatras called Purnavasu. Purnavasu means return of the light. It's almost like what happened the day before, which could have been a little turbulent with the moon in Ardra. This is the day that it's like the bright sunny day that we have the return of the light. And things get back to normal. Even though I know we have Mars in the 2nd house, in the moon sign, be cautious what you say. This is half of the day. And then still Jupiter is 12th from the moon, so people are generous. Things are going well at work. There's a lot of expansion and things progressing. It's a day of spiritual thought and work. And with the Sun, Mercury in the 7th from the moon, it's still a great day for communications with partners. But as I said, the moon will go into Cancer later on after noontime, probably around 4 or 6 p.m. on January 13th. Therefore, I want to talk about January 14th because this will be when the moon is in Cancer. And so January 13th, it was still halfway in it will be in Cancer too, half of that day. But today, the whole day, January 14th, which is a Tuesday, Central Standard Time, the moon is in Cancer. And it will have crossed over Mars. Moon Mars is intense. There is something about anger and emotion that's being pushed out. People can't control it today. It's pretty much a day of extremes. The moon will oppose Pluto. This is emotional extremes, gut-wrenching emotions come out today. And by the way, Tuesday is ruled by Mars as well. So this is a really, really intense day. And a lot of chaotic, catastrophic things have happened on Tuesdays. September 11th, it was a Tuesday because it's Mars Day. So be aware that things are heating up on this day with Mars being with the moon, and heaven forbid, but this is the day, well, January 13th and 14th actually is the full moon. Now, I will back that up. It's January 13th that's the full moon, but we have the moon when it's in Cancer, and the sun just situated into Capricorn. So I do want to go back to January 13th, which is a Monday. I know the moon is in Purnavasu, which I love, but that is the day of the full moon. So the full moon really happens on January 13th. And I know I'm going back and forth this day, but January 13th is the full moon. And what I love about this full moon, and remember, I've told you this, that from November of 2024 to April of 2025, we have the full moon every single month for 6 months occur at 29 degrees, which means the end of a sign. There's only 30 degrees to a sign, which means that something's ending and something's beginning. This is going to be the feel of this 6 months, totally. And this full moon is full of energy and life because that 29-degree mark for both the sun and the moon, when it's full, represents a new beginning. So going back to January 14th, when the sun does go into 0 degrees of Capricorn, it's just entered into Capricorn. And of course, this is a Tuesday. Like I said, Tuesdays can be very catastrophic. And the sun and the moon are still in opposition, but we're looking at the moon with its intensity being in Cancer with Mars. Anger issues are surfacing. People are at odds, but that moon opposed Pluto is really difficult. I'm telling you, this is gut-wrenching emotional issues that will come up for us all around this day. So be in check of yourself emotionally. Now, I'm also noticing that Venus and Saturn will be in the 8th house from the moon. And the 8th house deals with deep introspection, and it can also deal with a sense of not, things aren't right, things are hidden, things are not as they appear. And the moon will be in the nakshatra called Pusha. And actually, Pusha is said to be the most spiritual nakshatra of all. It can deal with very pious and priest-like people, teachers, gurus, things of that nature. But it also deals with nurturing. So it's like there's something that is coming together that is going to nurture our souls and make us feel better in the long run. But like I said, this is a day of purging an emotional, gut-wrenching energy. And Jupiter is in the 11th house from this moon. I love that. The 11th house can be the house of great gains, so it's a good day financially, even though it's very emotional and a lot is going on. But it's also a good day to call up and be close to friends, because that's what the 11th house is all about. And if your father's still around, do give him a call, because there's something going on with your father that you may not know about. That's because the Neptune Rahu are in the 9th house from the moon. This represents something you can't see is happening there. Just check it out to make sure everything's okay. And that concludes the second week of January, from January 8th to the 14th. So let me remind everyone, go to my website to sign up for my free newsletter. You're going to get all of these predictions delivered to your email address absolutely free every week. Don't forget my galactic planner so you can get all of these predictions for you personally downloaded into your phone and your calendar. Last but not least, if this has been inspiring you to learn Vedic astrology, I have my university. Semester 1 will begin again the first week of February, when that Jupiter moon come together. Remember what I said about the Jupiter moon aspect. It's the best to start anything new. So go to universityofvedicastrology.com, and last but not least, become part of our spiritual community. Go to my Patreon and become a member and get all of the great gifts that you will get by being part of this spiritual community. All of that is found on my website, galacticcenter.org. Thank you.